What up though? I'm Rob Bogan and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we'll be learning how I invested my money in the stock market. No, this is not financial advice, so don't blame me for what you did last month, okay? Let's get right to it. You guys are probably wondering, like, you don't even know where to start. Like, I want to invest. Hey Rob, how do I invest? What website do I use? What app do I use? Me personally, I use Robinhood. I like Robinhood because this isn't any promotional thing. It's just when I'm on the move, it's easy to access. It's easy to maneuver when it comes to options and futures. It's really easy to get in and out. And you'll understand that more when you're trading at your computer one day and then you get out in public and you're like, oh, I gotta go do this, but the market's about to open or the market's about to close or I need my trade. You can set up these apps to send you notifications, hey, it's dropped, it's went up, things like that when you get into the options game. But just as far as investing, I like Robinhood personally. Now you have 401ks, you have Roth IRAs, you have all these type of different investings. But those people are typically middlemen. You're just trying to get them, you're just giving them bread and they're gonna manage your bread for you, which is fine. But if we just cut the middleman out and do it ourselves, we have way more potential of growth than just letting them control what we're doing or not necessarily control, but the pace we're getting our returns at. Now, it's not a bad thing to have a 401k or a Roth IRA. That's perfectly fine. That's a great investment for retirements. Now, that's typically for our parents and grandparents. You know, that was the thing. People were giving out pensions and everything like that. Now, today's day and age, we're kind of trying to beat interest rates. So, a more aggressive type style of investing is more beneficial to people our age or maybe even younger or maybe even older. It doesn't really have an age to it. It's just kind of what you want to do with it. Why boring equals rich? Now, stop saying you don't have money to invest. Stop acting like there's not multiple sources of information, pages, how to invest and what to invest in. You going to spend $20 to get in the club, hey, that $20 could turn into $60 real quick, you know? You taking $300 and making that $700 car payment when you could have just got a Toyota Camry for $300 and then the extra $400 you got left over, you could put in an options contract. That $400 turned into $1,200 in 2 days, a day, 5 minutes, a week. I mean, the potential is whatever. When you go on Robinhood, you do options trade, and you put in for a contract, it will say max profit, unlimited, max loss, only what you put in. You can only lose what you put in. If you don't, people pull out the stock market when it's red, and that's the worst time too. Stay in it, just ride it out. When it's red, you actually need to buy because that's like a clearance tag. That's telling you, hey, this market's on sale or this stock is on sale. How much of our portfolio is high risk versus low risk? I'm pretty high risk right now just because I'm so young. And I was fortunate enough to get around some people and get some information and learn how to trade, and also just take a big risk and watch it pay off or not watch it pay off and just learn from it and then go about it a different way. So high risk, low risk. High risk will probably be like cryptos, things that are real volatile. Anything that has a lot of, it's fluctuating a lot, up and down, up and down, up and down. Those are like real high risk things. Now when we look at low risk assets, we're talking about like S&P 500, let's say top 10. If you don't know what the S&P 500 is, it's the Standard & Poor's Index. It is the top 500 companies in America So the top 10 is like Amazon, Tesla, Apple, Google, the main companies we all know today. So to me, that's a bit of a low risk investment. As far as if you were just to put your money in the S&P 500, because you're investing in all 500 of the companies, and that would be kind of like a 401k, which your company would offer you. But for me, I just look up the S&P 500, see what's in the top 5 or top 10, and I invest in that company by itself instead of as a whole group of a 500, as a whole. So like Amazon was 4 or 5 right now. So Amazon's it's just a good company. Everybody buys it. I mean, you probably shopped on it. You probably sitting here smirking right now because you got a package that just hit the door, or your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, got a package that just hit the door. Amazon is constantly investing to grow their company. They're investing in AI. They're constantly growing. If you go over, people say when in doubt, zoom out. If the market is red, when in doubt, zoom out. If we're red on the day, that don't mean we're red on the week. And if we're red on the week, that don't mean we're red on the month. If we're red on the month, that don't mean we're red on the year or 5 years. We could be green over the 5 years. Amazon's growth has showed potential 20% almost every year. So that's just certain things, what to look for. And I guess when it comes to what to look for, you're not going to find everything. Some mistakes I made was just jumping in let's say as far as options trading, jumping in an options trade and not even realizing like what charting is, or highs and lows, and all these different things that go with like day trading, swing trading, and leap trading. Excuse me. And the mistakes I made was just not researching that. Like me wanting to day trade, but not researching candlesticks and different just strategies of day trading. Now, mistakes I've also made is just not putting $200 every month in a stock. Like, let's just say Microsoft 2000 was dirt cheap, and now it's hundreds of dollars. Facebook is worth $700. If I'm 31 now, so the time I was 18, 16, whenever I got my first job, if I would just dump 50 into Amazon or Netflix or whatever until today, the growth of that potential is insane, because those companies today, you could have put $1,000 in Microsoft 10 years ago and you'd have over almost $1 million probably. You do the math, correct me if I'm wrong, but 1,000, at least 50K, the company is going crazy. So my risk management, as far as risk management, like I said, I'm pretty high risk right now. I'm hungry. I'm good as far as financials, but I'm just hungry and I want to learn more. So I'm really aggressive because I'm just trying to learn. Sometimes you get aggressive, you make mistakes, but the best time I've ever learned in life was either making changes or making mistakes. So just take that into consideration. Diversification. Everybody talks about diversification. Yes, it's a good thing, but that's if we're just being neutral and you want to be into S&P 500s, 401ks, all these types of investments. Now, diversification for me, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket, but me being more aggressive with my investing, I am, because I'm willing to lose more. So diversification just depends on how willing are you to be high risk, or do you want to be low risk. So just consider that when people talk about diversification. And dollar cost averaging. This is a big one, because people feel like they miss out on stocks when the stocks rise, or when they drop, they feel like they're losing money. So for example, if I have a stock that is $1, right? And I first get in at $1 when it starts. If it goes up to $3, and I'm like, man, I should have bought more at $1. No, you have some stocks at $1 and you bought more at $3. Now that company could fluctuate between that $1 and $3 for months, and if it drops back down to $2.50, buy more. Because let's say you bought 50 shares at $1, then you bought 20 shares at $3, and then we bought 10 shares at $2.50. That, you average out that number of what you paid per share, that is your dollar cost average. A lot of people are saying they missed out on Bitcoin because it's 80K. You didn't miss out on Bitcoin. You're just getting in later, and there's no saying that it won't drop lower, so you can get some cheaper shares later on. And there's no saying that it could stay at 80K forever. It could go to 150K, and then you're like, oh man, I should have bought it at 80. We just buy at different levels when the markets, when we feel like it's appropriate to buy, depending on your portfolio. Some people bought Bitcoin at its highest, or Amazon at its highest share price, and they feel like they lost out because it came back down. You didn't lose out, you just paid a lot, and it's okay to sit here and buy more when it comes back down. You're just gonna average out how much you're spending, dollar cost average. Emotional control. Emotional control is so huge when it comes to trading. A lot of times people like emotionally like, oh, I lost 400, let me put another 400 so I can get it another 400 back. Or let me do this so I can do this. Let me risk this much so I can make this much. Yeah, that's all good in games, but the news can change things really quick. And if you're not paying attention to companies' earnings dates, for example, Amazon has earnings on February 5th. It may be the day I post this video, I don't know. Amazon has earnings February 5th. So for instance, February 5th, when the earnings come out, they're basically giving you a viewpoint, a POV on what their future is going to look like, what they're investing in, what they're spending, what their P&Es are. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can look up to when it comes to a company. And the one website I use to look into companies is Yahoo Finance. You can get the breakdown of a company's EDBAs, everything you need to ensure that company is a good company. You have on that website, so that way you don't make a bad investment at the wrong time, or you just don't invest too much at the wrong time. That's pretty much all I got it for today. If you guys have questions, comments, or concerns, or you want to tell me your biggest investing mistake, comment down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. And if some of them questions keep getting repeated, then I'll just do a whole video on it. Or you guys can reach out to me personally, Instagram, Rob Vogan, and we can DM and we can conversate about how you can get started investing. It's Rob Vogan, man. Peace.